start streaming. Oh, they're trying to play the video. I'm ready to play the video. Okay. It says we're going. Let's go to our channel and see. The horror show.
I was going to say, I'm going to jump on it myself.
Uh-oh.
Although we'll be able to... Are we going to have a separate window for comments, or...?
No, probably not, but...
No.
I'm not seeing it.
It popped up in my...
Did it?
My notification 24 seconds ago.
Is that the ad for the stream? Let's make sure. Yeah! Wait, do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Well, I muted it.
Yeah, it's okay. Turn it up. Let's see. Can you hear it? Oh, baby, it's working. Yeah, all right. Sweet. All right, so I almost turned it off. That's not what I want to do. So let me pull it up here. All right,
and Nightmare in the house, dude. How about Damon and Bischoff taking over? What's going on, man?
All right, well, I'm not seeing it for me to actually click on to check comments and stuff.
Well, we have Nightmare Maven in the house.
Oh, there it is.
We have
Shattered
Perfection.
Yeah, wait, do you
Garcia, the Death Twitch.
What up, Eric? Good to see you, brother.
Hell yeah, man.
All right,
Queenie Todd is in. Chrissy Bug.
Got it
Sandra.
here. Got it here. Oh, there's the chat. All right. I'm going to pop that baby out.
And Gory B says, I love Chauncey. Great channel. I was just introduced to Chauncey, and we were having
We're going to do a proper introduction right about now. So, hey, everyone. Welcome to the 5th hour of the Creepy Channel Crawl. We are the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime Fuego.
Thank you very much to Gory B Movie and the Horror Addicts for putting on this event once again.
Jenny Nightmare.
We are here to discuss horror remakes with you guys, in case you couldn't tell by all the flair I put on screen.
Cecil, you're supposed to have at least 6 pieces of flair.
6 pieces of flair. I got 4. I got 4 pieces of
15
flair.
15 pieces of flair.
I couldn't remember the number.
All right, well,
going on it.
We're way short of 15, so let us introduce our guests. Guys, for this hour, we have, first off, the Twisted Girl Next Door, Chauncey K. Robinson, a fantastic journalist in her own right, who actually just won an award that I'll let her toot her own horn about. But welcome to the show once again, Chauncey.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited. First crawl ever.
Well, we are hour 5 of 28, so we're early on when a lot of people aren't quite asleep yet, so we've got some eyes on us, and this is a really cool event, you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. But Chauncey, real quick before we get into everything, why don't you tell everyone just a little bit about your channel, what you do, what they can find, and where they can find it?
Yeah, well, my channel is the Twisted Girl Next Door TV. It's self-named, though. It's Chauncey K. Robinson. And I tend to do horror, dark fantasy reviews of movies, but also TV shows. Like, we went through the whole Charmed and the Doom Patrol. I was doing Swamp Thing before they decided to cancel it, but I will be finishing that season, and when Titans comes back and things like that. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube and also my website, ChaunceyKRobinson.com. So
fantastic. We're front loading with the plugs, guys. And next up, of course, we're going to welcome an old friend of the channel, someone that I am particularly fond of. If you guys haven't checked out Confused Reviews yet, you definitely need to. He'll explain kind of what he does, but I actually got to guest with him on his Child's Play 3 reviews, so I'm excited to get his opinion on some of this stuff here today. But welcome once again, Luke from Confused Reviews.
What's going on?
Bringing that fire energy.
Yes.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, you know.
Luke, welcome. Why don't you let everyone know a little bit about your channel? Maybe that'll wake you up a little bit.
All right, so I run Confused Reviews, which is a channel on YouTube where videos are posted.
Once again,
great, fantastic. Moving on.
And that's just it.
No, go ahead. Tell them just a little bit. They can see a representation of your work on the right, although I doctored it a little bit.
I review horror movies occasionally, and sometimes I get upset. Hence the little angry drawing that Cecil likes very much.
Yeah, he does all of his reviews with his own drawing and clips from the movies, and they're brilliant, frankly. And he says occasionally he does horror movies, but let's be honest, he occasionally does non-horror movies. Which I actually just watched his Hellraiser Judgment review earlier today.
He just put it
Another
up,
piece of gold. You guys gotta watch his stuff. I absolutely love his channel, and you guys will too. So we are here to discuss horror remakes with you guys, and before I catch any shit in the comments section, because I know we're going to, yes, I know that technically Stephen King's It 2017 is a new adaptation as opposed to a remake. That technically goes with Pet Sematary below as well.
Everything is pretty much a new adaptation of The Thing was a new adaptation.
The Thing was a new adaptation of the original 1938 story. The only picture on screen right now that is a genuine remake is Chucky over there from Child's Play. But nonetheless, they all kind of qualify. But just before we catch any shit, I'm calling that on the front. I know.
Okay, but remake.
Jumping in front of this train.
I am. Yeah. By the way, yes, I am wearing a shirt featuring the best remake of all time, John Carpenter's The Thing. So.
And I'm wearing a shirt called Metalachi, which is basically a Spanish group that does remakes of metal songs in mariachi style. So there you go. That's kind of befitting of the Fuego motif a little bit.
All right, guys, so let's get into it. What do you say here? So, now, there have been a number of 2019 horror remakes, from Hellboy to Pet Sematary to the upcoming It to Child's Play to the upcoming Jacob's Ladder. We're going to touch on all of these sort of in ways throughout this stream, but first off, I want to get your guys' opinion. Have you seen any of the remakes that have come out this year yet? Chauncey, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I actually recently just saw Chucky, and I saw Chucky, and
Give us your opinion. Don't hold back.
I had a lot of emotions with that, which was weird because I rewatched the old ones. Okay, I tend to like the first one the best. I think later on in the franchise it got kind of silly for me, and I just couldn't take it seriously in terms of scare. But I felt like really like attached to him the way they did the first half of it, and like he wasn't like straight up evil. He was like a learning AI kind of a thing, and I was like, is this like on purpose to make me care before he goes off the rail? It was a very different emotion that I felt, which was pretty cool that they kind of did a different sort of take on it. Like he wasn't just outright evil completely. Sorry if it's like spoilers, but like, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I mean, guys, well, let's call it now. There'll be spoilers for movies that have already come out in this review or in this video. So, go ahead.
And maybe movies that haven't come out yet.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely, because that's just predictions. Chauncey, did you see Pet Sematary?
I did. I saw that too. I went to the I saw that, and I liked some aspects of it, but I think it wasn't as good as the previous one to me, just because of the ending. I thought the ending was one of the things I said, it felt very much like kind of Tales from the Crypt sort of switch at the end. You know how those episodes go where it's like, oh, it's a zinger, like this is totally different, and that's what they did with that, as opposed to I thought the original was kind of with the wife and everything come back was a bit deeper than that, and I thought they went for a little bit more of the gimmicky to try to be different. So everything up to that point was pretty good. So fair
enough. Let's see. Were there any others that came out this year that
nothing that anybody has seen?
Nothing
yet.
that anybody's seen yet. Okay.
Well, I mean, besides Hellboy.
Suspiria was technically last year, right?
Yeah, Suspiria was last year. I didn't like that either.
Oh wow. Okay. Chauncey is down on the remakes so far.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get to it because there's a lot of. In fact, I don't know if you can see back here, but I've actually got the Blu-ray for A Nightmare on Elm Street remake, The Thing, my of course favorite, and then the Poltergeist remake back there. So we'll get your guys' views on those in turn. But Luke, let's jump over to you. Did you see either Child's Play or Pet Sematary yet this year?
Or Hellboy?
I did not see Hellboy or Pet Sematary because I don't care. I did see Child's Play for the same reason, but
you cared enough to see it.
When I left the theater, I really enjoyed it. And if you don't mind, I'm going to whore myself out for a moment.
Actually, I mind.
Recently.
Chauncey.
Oh,
No,
oh my.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Luke.
So I recently started a podcast just in case there weren't enough of those already with my buddy from the real world, and we
Which season?
did the first.
Sorry.
I was actually thinking that too.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Seattle, baby, Seattle, Hawaii.
All right, go ahead, Luke. Continue.
No, but the first one we did was of the Child's Play remake, and then after we started talking about it, I really started to not like it anymore. So I'm gonna say you probably like it at the beginning, but after you think about it for a minute, I didn't like it anymore.
I didn't like it from the beginning. So
Yeah.
I honestly, I had, and I guess this is our turn.
Yeah.
I had so much like hope for it, and I was in its corner because I've always been the guy that's in the corner of remakes, and we'll touch on that in the next question. But I just had high hopes, except for the goddamn doll. It looked so freaking bad. It was just, it's so, and like the problem is they even poke fun at it. Where like, no, I want you to look scary, and he's like, nah, nah. And he just looks so ridiculous, and it's like, oh, so I'm just not going to be scared of this doll at all through the entire movie, because every scary face after that was reminding me of that scene where he's just stupid face. So I had high hopes. I didn't like it. I had high hopes for Mark Hamill, but then I realized they neutered him. They literally like took his balls like a steer and just went clip, clip, because he didn't even have the range to do two different Chuckies. That's what I loved so much about Brad Dourif in the original. Yes, he didn't do the kitty voice, hi, I'm Chucky, wanna play? But he did do the switch over to evil Chucky. Mark Hamill could have literally done both, but they didn't let him do like a vocal shift to when he became evil Chucky, and I think that was a dramatic misstep. So yeah, I had a lot of problems with it. I know a lot of people really liked it. Again, I'm on board for remakes, but I just think that this one was a failure from jump. Although I was on board from jump watching it. So, Fuego, your quick thoughts on it?
I had very moderate feelings about just all three of the horror remakes that we've had thus far this year. Like Hellboy, I didn't hate, I didn't particularly love. Same with Pet Sematary, and same with, Child's Play. I didn't come into the Child's Play remake with the expectations that you did, even though we were listening to the score leading up, and I could sense your hype just growing and growing and growing, and I was like, yeah, I'm still just moderately excited. And I actually felt like what Chauncey was saying, especially early on. I sympathized. I felt bad for Chucky and just his weird codependency that was kind of being fostered. And you
like this, right, Andy? Yeah, you like it when I kill people?
Like
Don't you like it, Andy?
Jilted lava, but I don't know. I know that was deliberate. And then with the voice thing, the more that I thought about it, the more I actually was okay with the subdued Hamill, because it's still a robot at the end of the day that doesn't have programming for mania or anything.
Which is why it's half as interesting as the original.
Although I did laugh when I saw some of those memes going around where it was the evil crusty doll from the Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah,
where it was like,
you just have to switch him to good from evil.
Good, and he's like cooking for you and stuff like that. So, Pet Sematary, on the other hand, I felt like that was a very cold, and even though the source material is one of my top 3 ever Stephen King stories, it just I was okay with the swap. That wasn't my problem. My swap was that like the stuff that I thought the film didn't succeed in was having a real friendship between Judd and Dr. Creed that actually made sense and felt warm and felt like a kinship of father and son, which goes back to the source material between the two of them and the original film. And the whole twist ending, it's funny, Chauncey, because there were 2 different endings that they screened for test audiences. There was the original scripted ending and a reshot ending. The original ending is on the Blu-ray that just came out this week. They ended up going based on how the test audiences reacted with the reshot ending, with, the whole dead family showing up and Gage being there. Yes, exactly. This is spoiler discussion. I liked the original scripted ending better. I thought that even though it was still kind of a Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, what the twist kind of thing.
What the twist?
It was more effective in my estimation. And Hellboy was just dumb and very violent. And I don't know, from a visual standpoint, some of the green screen looked pretty bad, but I don't know. I had enough fun with it where I couldn't absolutely hate it. So
I couldn't absolutely hate it just because they finally went full bore. Here's some giant demons rising and causing literal havoc throughout our world. hacking people in half and eating them and all this stuff. I was like, yes, bitch, give me a whole movie of this. But like, no,
like
that hasn't happened. So, all right.
Well,
so
then later this year, obviously, we have the second part of.
Oh snap! Face reveal. Oh wait, I gotta fix this camera. Shit.
Whoa, it's legit happening. Okay.
Anyway, continue, Fuego.
Well, I was just going to say, later this year, in September, we have the second part of the remake reimagining of it, the adults-only version, although we are going to have some jump backs to the kids, more akin to the original novel and miniseries. And then, obviously, Jacob's Ladder, which comes out in just a couple weeks, like a week or so on... what is it? It's either DirecTV exclusively, kind of the same thing The Hole in the Ground did, and then it's going to be in limited theatrical release in August. But that's one where it's taking, like the whole urban approach in comparison, and I know that we're going to take, some time to discuss that a little later. So
we are. So we can move into the second question, and Luke, I got it fixed. So
okay, I don't know what happened.
I got it fixed. It froze you, but you should be good now. So if you want to get crazy,
it's not letting me.
Son of a biscuit.
So I don't know what the fuck just happened.
That's okay. All right. Well, they got to see you briefly. All right, just really quick before we move into the second question, I'm going to shout out some of the people we have. We have a number of viewers right now, guys. We got, looks like 60 people watching right now. That's pretty good.
Wow.
Welcome,
Awesome.
y'all. Welcome. We got Ben Grimm. We got Sandra Wellbrenner. We got Sarah Counts. M. Sanders Whiteley. The Manhammer AR-15. Lil Beardy. Dice Roland. Nicholas Garcia. Oh, my God. There's so many people. Will I Like It Reviews, a.k.a. Willis Scredia, a.k.a. CP's Willis Scredia, is here.
Show business every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern,
Oh,
6
fuck
p.m.
off
Pacific.
with your plug. Eddie D is here. White Tim is here. Nightmare Maven. Chris Bethel. Oh, my God, so many people. Death Witch, we already shouted out. So, okay, cool. Guys, let's move into the next question.
Long
here we
days and
go.
pleasant nights, Sandra.
Chauncey, we're always going to go to you because ladies always first. That's what my
Cool.
papa taught me. So here we go. What are your thoughts on remakes in general? And let me preface this with the fact that there's so many people that hear about remakes and you automatically hear this, F remakes, I don't want to hear it. No, why doesn't Hollywood have any original ideas? It's like, bitch, they have original ideas. It's called Midsummer and you didn't go see it. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. So what do you think of remakes in general?
I think a remake can be really good if they keep the spirit of the original, like understanding where it was coming from, and that's why I guess I can talk a little bit about later about why I didn't like Suspiria, like the remake of Suspiria. But I think when you have the core of it and then you kind of put a different spin on it without getting away from that, it can be good. I do get kind of frustrated when people are like with the Chucky one. I actually was interested in the Chucky one, but then everyone, one of the things, the first sentiment is like, oh my gosh, that's my childhood. It's always someone's childhood or someone's, memory or something like that. And then it's like they automatically, dismiss it. But I think I kind of take it case by case. I'm not an automatic, sometimes I do the childhood thing too, just because I don't want it tarnished. I don't want to give it away, but I do think that it can be done well enough in certain cases. Although more often time than not, I usually don't like the remake, but I don't, it's not like a blanket statement for me. I'm not completely against remakes. Sometimes a remake makes, a better movie than the original occasionally. So
We got a freeze. I'm going to add you back in. They can still hear you just fine, but I'm going to add you back in. Hang on 1 second. There you are. Cool.
Eric says he loves remakes.
Eric says he loves remakes.
I think he's being facetious.
Eric is absolutely being facetious.
I smell sarcasm.
I do too.
Never from that guy.
Never from Eric.
We love
Absolutely.
Eric.
All right. So, Luke, what are your general thoughts on remakes?
I think a lot of the times they're made simply for the monetary gain. But every once in a while, you get someone like John Carpenter who goes, you know what, I'm going to make something different because I actually want to, and then you get a good one, but most of the time they're pretty shitty. That's how I feel.
I actually saw the best meme today about John Carpenter's The Thing, and it was the scene in Back to the Future where Marty plays Chuck Berry for all the kids, and he's like, guess that's a little much for you guys right now, but your kids are going to love it. And that really epitomizes, because it bombed in theaters when it first came out. Nobody got to see it. It found appreciation as years went on, so...
True. So my thoughts on remakes in general, I'm gonna keep it brief because I could literally give a lecture on why I'm okay with remakes.
We did a whole panel about it.
We did. We literally did a whole panel that dropped last Sunday as a podcast. So it's an hour of us talking about remakes. But I think that when you boil it down to the simplest idea, the remake is still an opportunity. It's not filmed on the negatives of the old movies. No one burns the old movies when they make it. So it's not like it does away with the old version, right? So the remake is, to me, just another opportunity for us as horror fans to have a new installment of a favorite franchise to go back to and watch over and over again. Okay? It's not a guarantee, and if it's bad, you never have to watch it again. But at least if they're doing another one, you have a chance at having another one. I mean, The Hills Have Eyes, kick-ass remake,
so
right?
You're telling me there's a
Friday
chance.
the 13th in 2009, I think, is a kick-ass remake. You know what I mean? There's some kick-ass remakes that I go back and rewatch. So I would rather... I even like that Poltergeist one back there that so many people hate. All four of the members of this show like the Poltergeist remake.
Sam Rockwell for the win, dude.
Dude, so we don't have the baggage, and we're not... That's the thing. I think people that hate on remakes just have this just hate towards anything. They're like, you could spend the money elsewhere. There's still money being spent elsewhere. But, remakes are just another opportunity because they need a way for younger audiences to get into these franchises. And remakes are a good way for them to do it. So that's my thoughts. I don't begrudge remakes. I'm going to try every single one that comes out. I'm going to definitely disparage the ones that deserve disparaging. But I don't hate on it. I don't hate on it. So, Fuego, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same in the fact that I always try to approach a new piece of art with an objective mind because art is subjective, and if I come in with preconceptions and stuff like that, it's not fair to these new people that do not set out to make something shitty, in my estimation. Who sets out to make... I mean, I guess there's some cash grab, just, crank it out sort of studio, just... garbage that does intend that. But I would say for the most part, 9 times out of 10, people do try to put, their heart and their soul into their art. They do actually try to make something genuine. I would always personally prefer a prequel or a sequel to a remake. Either tell some origin about this particular, universe or, cast of characters or whatever, or continue the story. But if you have to do a remake, it's not going to take the original source material away. It's not going to take that book or that film that meant so much to me as a kid. It's still going to exist. It's still going to be there. I actually think that some of the best films in the 80s were remakes. If we are talking the Unholy Trilogy, which is The Thing, The Blob, and The Fly, all 3 of those were remakes of 50s films. And so I say every 20 or 30 years, it's fine to... just give another stab at it and expose yourself to a new audience, sort of thing. And a few remakes that I personally think are fantastic are the Evil Dead remake, the Crazies remake. I like the Piranha remake, the Hills Have Eyes remake, both the Dawn of the Dead remake, and I really like Savini's Night of the Living Dead remake. I actually, in some ways, like it better than the original, and Ramiro has gone on record in his interview with me to say that's one of the few remakes he actually really thinks outdid his own stuff.
Let me pick up that name you dropped. Okay.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Definitely a career highlight as a journalist interviewing that guy. So
it was him, CP, not me this time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so, hey, I don't name drop a lot, but
did I smell a name drop?
Yeah.
Thank you for
Did you and Cecil do a little Freaky Friday thing? Switch bodies for a second there?
How dare you, Luke? How dare you?
Yeah, but I'm always up for a remake at the end of the day because it's not gonna taint a franchise that is beloved to me. It's just always another possibility for something cool and a different take. So Chauncey was right, especially in the fact that if it maintains the spirit, but hopefully does something different and unique. That's the problem with the Gus Van Sant remake of Psycho, is talking shot for shot remake. I mean, it's like what everybody's saying about this Lion King movie that's about to come out. What's the point? So
yeah, what's the point?
Okay, so real quick to address Eric and Dino, who are hate watching the stream right now.
No,
Because
congrats on
Eric's like,
5,000.
I've heard this speech so many times, but it's cool.
Lots of people haven't heard it, though.
I know. Well, that's
yeah.
the thing. A lot of people haven't heard it, and we're not doing the show just for you, Eric. But
That's the only reason I'm here.
just for Eric? Okay, well, fair
Yeah.
enough. And Dino just says remakes are lazy filmmaking, which he's not alone. He's not alone, in thinking that, remakes are just a cash grab and lazy filmmaking. I don't think that's the thing.
A lot of times they are.
Okay, so it's no more lazy to me than using a comic book as a source material, because all you're doing is using the original as storyboards. That's the most you can do, right? And original graphic novels and comics are handmade storyboards, so it's no different than that, realistically. So it is the new filmmaker's interpretation on stuff, which does take effort. And keep in mind, no one sets out to make a bad movie, okay? That's never the intention. Sometimes it happens, but that's never the intention. So I think it's no more lazy than any other filmmaking, because you still have to make a coherent story based on your storyboards and story. Yes, the story isn't original, so maybe it's lazy not using an original screenwriter in that sense, so I'd agree with that maybe. But I don't think it's lazy filmmaking, because you still have to make the movie in a professional, good way, or else people are gonna crap on you and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on that.
Well, and so many.
Well, there's a lot. Oh, go ahead.
No. You
Chauncey,
beat me
please.
to it. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, and there's so many different things that go into movie making, right? Like the direction, the cinematography, the acting. I mean, depending on who the actor is. Like, for example, I didn't care for the Shining with Jack Nicholson.
Thank you,
And
Chauncey.
God, I don't think I've ever been more hurt.
I'm sorry to
in
do
this
that
moment.
to you. Yeah, but I actually I think it came on an ABC. There was the ABC version. They did a mini series of it. I actually liked that a lot better, that version.
Me too.
Of it. And it was the same kind of, but they did a different interpretation. I think it's what you were saying about comics. It's comic books is kind of the same way of theater. I'm sure as many times as people have done Shakespeare, it's like, oh my gosh, here's another remake of Shakespeare. It's like, no, here's a different actor, here's a different director, here's a different set design. And I think when you can bring those new things to it, that can make it better. What I don't particularly care for is when it's, kind of the same sort of thing. They get the casting wrong and they get the spirit of it wrong. And then they might switch an ending or switch a character. And it's like, oh, look, a whole new movie. And it's like, actually, no, that to me is lazy. But then, looking at all the other artistic elements that go into it can make it something great, when you think about it.
Yeah,
True.
I just contend that the best stories deserve to be retold. They do.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
I mean, the best stories need to be passed down through generations, and this is our way of doing that. I mean,
and
this is just the same. This is literally the same thing, and in whether you want to call it an esoteric way or whether a direct correlation way, it's the same thing as every storyteller doing their own version in the book and passing it down, and then someone else will do their version of it and stuff like that.
Or
It's
even back when stories were just told to each other.
Absolutely.
And it was like the telephone
It's
game
the telephone.
equation,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
exactly the thing I was going to say. The
Yeah,
telephone game.
yeah.
Everyone puts their spin on it, and that becomes part of the story.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like it too.
Everyone's
It's just
entitled to their-
it's an updated version of something our culture has been doing for eons.
Because there is really nothing new under the sun. It's just giving a new spin
Maybe not
on
eons.
those, chords put together, or, those tropes of, the same things that we've seen over and over. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but someone said every story's already been told. It's not. I mean, that sounds like a downer, but they're all kind of the same when you think about it, just different things, certain elements. So
Yeah. Well, they say that every story is just one of three, right? It's man versus man versus himself, and man versus nature. Every story is a derivation of one of those three.
because that's pretty
Man
much
or
basic.
woman. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, basic life experiences. that,
thank you for being inclusive.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel like that part from that movie that just came out, was it Men in Black? When he turns around, he's like, yeah, thumbs up. Okay, so let's get into the next one here. So what are some of your favorite remakes? Chauncey, let's start with you.
Well, you actually mentioned the Friday the 13th remake. I actually really enjoyed that one. I liked Bloody Valentine. I think it came out like in 2009. It was the one with Jason Ankles. It was like a 3D movie. I really enjoyed it.
That's a great one.
That was one of my faves. The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum, that really grossed me out, but I enjoyed that one as well. And there's one other one. I can't even think of it. Did I have it written down?
Do you like The Thing?
I'm not gonna say no.
Oh, you were about to say no.
But it's one of those things.
What is happening right now?
He's like between.
Did I fall into the fucking Twilight Zone?
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. No, it's actually just the one film I can't sit all the way through.
Oh,
I can't sit all the way through. Not because it's bad though. It's really just a lot, and it's such a. And I don't get grossed out easily, but just everything about that. The head, the dogs, I can't.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Very visceral, I guess is a good
Yes, and I'm more into like the ghost, the mystery, what you can't see in the dark, and he just showed us everything, and I can't. But I appreciate it. I appreciate The Thing.
Confused Reviews said I'm confused.
Confused is joining the comment section. I'm confused.
I really wish my camera would turn on because I'm face palming right now.
Oh wait, hang on, wait. Oh wait, the wrong one. Wait,
it won't. My fucking computer's saying no device found, even though my laptop has one. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay, fair enough.
Fate's telling me not to do it.
Not to do a face reveal. Okay, so Luke, what are some of your favorite remakes?
The Thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As the counterpoint.
The thing is what I would call a perfect movie.
Fuck yes, sir. Fuck.
It's fantastic from start to finish. An ensemble cast of just nothing but flawless performances.
It's my favorite horror movie of all time, bar none.
Honestly, it might on a technical level, it definitely is. I think I like Halloween just a little bit more, just yourself. Personally.
I like Aliens better, but
Aliens is good too. Aliens is a contender.
Yeah.
The greatest special effects that have ever been and will ever be, and it's got a flawless story. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I just don't know how anyone could not enjoy it.
What are some other ones that you like besides that? Have you liked any of the recent ones?
I'd say Friday the 13th was the least bad.
Did you like the My Bloody Valentine 3D?
No.
Oh man, you're hurting me.
It was so much fun.
For real.
I don't really care for either of them. I think they're just kind of both.
Oh, the first one's good
too. Was that the one that had Jensen Ackles in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Supernatural boys were just on a horror remake thing for a minute there.
Because the other one did Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Evil Dead was pretty good, but I wouldn't really call that a remake. I still think that's a sequel, technically.
Well, and Sam Raimi actually said recently that is film canon in the series because you do see Bruce in the post credits.
Yeah.
That's such bullshit.
He
Bruce in the post credits going groovy is hardly making a canon.
He's setting up the Evil Dead cinematic universe. Cecil.
He did a recent interview saying that they are working on.
I know what he said. We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be excited if it happens, but Bruce keeps playing games with my heart. Is all I'm saying.
Quit playing games, Cecil.
All right, so some of my horror remakes. Obviously, The Thing is my #1 favorite. I really liked My Bloody Valentine 3D. I thought that was fantastic as a remake. I think Friday the 13th is a great remake. And I don't have the issues with some of the remakes that people have. Again, I liked Poltergeist. I did not like Nightmare on Elm Street. I did. I liked the Poltergeist remake.
Why?
Me too.
Why not? Because it was fun. It was an updating of the special effects. I like the fact that they changed the kid that was in there, that we got to see the inside of that realm a little bit longer. Like, I liked it. It was just an update of the classic story. I didn't see what there was so much not to like.
My brain is recoiling to the back of my skull.
But yeah, no, I don't have the issue, so I'm fine with remakes for the most part. The Nightmare remake, I didn't like overall, but I did like the micro-nap aspect. I thought the micro-nap aspect was a good addition. I was like, yes, if that's a true thing, if you literally start to like fall asleep without realizing you're falling asleep after a certain amount of time, that's great to play with. I'm sorry, Luke.
But is that new? I mean, I felt like
no, they never did that. Nope, they never did micro naps before the remake.
Surprisingly,
never. in all 8 entries, including Freddy vs. Jason.
They had to do that because the movie was so terrible and boring. People in the test audience were having micro naps during the screening.
See, Chris Bethel asked, "Did you guys just love Blair Witch?" I actually did like Blair Witch, but that wasn't a remake. That was technically a sequel.
Yeah.
So,
Cecil, is there movies that you don't like?
yeah, of course, there's tons.
I don't like the Carrie remake. I
like the Carrie remake. Okay,
I don't like
but
Let Me In.
Let Me In was good too. I mean, all right. I'm not disproving his point here.
Check me.
There are some. I like Suspiria too. I don't know. Maybe there's
love-
not many remakes I don't like. I don't know.
Suspiria was really good.
I loved Suspiria. Although I will agree, completely different take than the original film. First and foremost, there's actual dancing in it, which you don't really get in the original.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, very different.
That
in the
was
pacing
ridiculous.
and the plotting nature of it and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just for the whole like whip cracking, smacking scene alone, I was just like, I was so grossed out by that. I mean, it's one of the most.
Oh yeah, my
nasty
stomach
things.
actually hurt.
Yeah.
And that never happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty desensitized at this point. But ones that have not been mentioned yet.
Oh shit, he's got a list. Here we go.
I have well because I mentioned a lot of them already. But I actually think Gore Verbinski's The Ring is a lot better than the Japanese film.
That's
really,
fair.
really do from a stylistic
And The
standpoint.
Grudge. The Grudge was really solid too.
That Gore movie, though, I mean, that's the one that I constantly think of, just taking just great source material and elevating it from a visual standpoint. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers one with Donald Pleasance from the 70s is fantastic.
Oh, the Puppet Masters.
The Nosferatu remake from the 70s is really, really good. It takes a silent film and just makes it a lot creepier and more gruesome.
You're cherry picking, but sure.
Which one?
Fright Night, I agree with. I actually like Fright Night recent. I like the recent Fright Night.
But that's for doing something. That's
Chauncey, come on.
Yeah, that's for doing something different, though. Once again, I still personally prefer
I
the
agree with
original.
her. It's pretty shitty.
God,
I still
damn
personally
it.
prefer the
That was
original, but I
not a
don't
good
hate the new
movie.
one.
Why do I have to check out of my own goddamn stream? I'm like,
And actually, even
I'm gonna have all these commenters going, "This guy's fucking crazy." I'm like, I picked remakes because I thought I could make an argument and have some backup.
well,
But I am
Did you
just
name
getting.
I Am Legend yet? I thought I Am Legend was
good
solid.
one.
I enjoy I Am Legend, but I personally prefer the first time they remade it, the Omega Man, the one with Charlton Heston from the 70s.
Oh, that was
where the
one of my
vampires
faves.
were,
Yeah.
like, they were almost like, I don't know, they were all wearing sunglasses and stuff.
Slap my
and,
mouth and call me Sally.
yeah.
I did not think of those.
Yeah, I love the Omega Man. That's a damn good movie.
I liked I Am Legend. It made me cry like a
It made me
motherfucker.
legit.
Yes.
Man.
Woo!
One of
I think it still had the same spirit, like with
did.
like the desolation, isolation, all that. I thought it really worked, and that's the whole thing about the spirit. When you actually mentioned like Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the reasons why I hated it was because I felt like they got away from the spirit of the original. And there's a cat there. Oh my gosh!
And I'm allergic to
Do
kitties.
you like cats?
I have 3
right
cats.
there.
I
Oh, okay.
am like. That's
This
amazing.
is Kitty Rose, aka Kithrin, because I didn't like calling out for Kitty, so I elongated her name to Kithrin. She's a sweetheart.
All 3 versions of, I mean, there's the original one with Vincent Price, and then, I mean, that for a while, that third one, I Am Legend, was the last thing that I legit loved as far as genre filmmaking that Will Smith did until, I mean, I just loved him in Aladdin too, so I guess that's the last time that as he segued into dramatic stuff, and then, like the weird cameo in the winter, whatever the hell that movie was that had Colin Farrell. Anyway, but yeah, that's great story, and three solid adaptations that were all spaced out well enough, about 30 or so years, and 30 to 40 years. That's about the sweet spot for remakes, in my opinion.
Petition
Give them
for
time to
Kithrin
breathe.
to replace Cecil. How dare you?
One more that I do have to shout out, because I know it's blasphemy amongst many, but Ben Grimm mentioned it. I actually really do like the Texas Chainsaw remake.
Oh, that's great.
I actually really like that one, man.
Dude,
And
I've liked
remember
every
seeing-
Texas Chainsaw movie except for Leatherface since that. Like, I liked the Texas Chainsaw, I liked the beginning, and I really liked the 3D one.
I still remember seeing.
You're talking
that-
about the one with Jessica Biel?
Yes,
Exactly,
ma'am.
exactly. And I still remember.
Look at her shake her head. How dare you?
The original, in the fact that it felt like a real movie with all of the different, radio stuff kicking in, and it felt almost pseudo-documentary status in its snuff film nasty nature.
How could you not be blown away by the camera pulling back through the head and the head like slumping over as the camera goes through the hole in the head?
Where they
that was
put-
some dope shit.
That's-
That's
dude
where
on-
the movie peaks.
Where they put
It's
dude
all
on the
downhill
hook,
from there.
and where the rock salt in the severed leg, like that stuff made me legit cringe in the theater. I don't think it's a better film than the first 2, by any stretch, but I think as far as like, I don't know, just another entry in the series more so than a remake in a lot of ways. I like it.
Fair enough. All right.
Ben, this entire stream is for you. What do you mean you've only been named? We'll name you for the rest of it.
Who shall
I
not
named
be
thee,
named.
Ben Grimm.
He who shall not be named.
Oh my God, Death Twitch liked the Texas Chainsaw remake. Holy shit! Someone
You sound like
right to
Cecil.
mama. How dare you?
Not the Cecil.
Don't insult him like that. The Freaky Girls Live are here too. What's up? What's up, everyone? Good to see everyone. Man, this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. The next one is going to be controversial.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Chauncey, we're starting with you.
Oh my god.
Should
Oh my God.
Here we go. Should Hollywood slow down on remakes? Why or why not?
I think yes, they should. Because I don't know if we are counting that as a remake or just like a reboot of a franchise, but like Chris Rock's about to do Saw.
Yes,
and I
come
don't know if he's,
on.
like, doing the
Yeah,
same.
give me your thoughts on that
Jackson,
real
too.
quick.
Hell yeah.
And
You brought
I'm
it
just
up,
like,
so we have to divert. What do you think on that?
I'm just like, well, didn't we just finish this? Like, why are you? And I get it. Like I think he cast Samuel L. Jackson, so it's gonna be a whole new kind of vibe. But I'm just like,
I want to play a game, bitch.
I'm fine with that, man.
it's great.
Say game over
impersonation.
again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
I cut your hand off, motherfucker.
Now that is one tasty burger.
Well,
Yeah, so it's just I just feel like the frequency is just it's not allowing us to first, like what was said before about moving away from it long enough so that maybe there's a different time where, because if you can relate a movie to maybe a different era, then yeah, it does take on a whole different vibe sometimes. Like a movie that came out in the 30s is going to be different, even if it's the same story coming out in 2019. But if it's something like 5 years apart, 10 years apart, you don't get a chance to miss it. And then you just have enough of us alive still who are going to probably hate on it, till there's a little bit of a space between it. And there's so many scripts that just don't get made. So.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this was apparently from what my research put together when we covered this on the Horror Show News with Booze, was that Chris Rock apparently
Fucking
had
plug machine over here. I love it.
Chris Rock had an original idea that he presented to the team behind the franchise, and he was like, is this doable? Do you have interest? And they thought it was a great new spin. So it's kind of a rebequel is a term that this guy came up with, where it's a sequel that works as a soft reboot for a franchise. And Saw, while moderately received, it wasn't like a big smashing success. It didn't like own Halloween.
We knew they were continuing with the series after the reception, though. They even said, they're like, yeah, we're going to do more. I have to shout out a couple of comments real quick. They need to make Teeth 3D. Boy, oh boy, I don't want to see that at all. I don't need to see 3D dicks being cut off by JJs with teeth. Did you see Teeth?
How about Killer
Chauncey?
Condom? Killer Condom.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what do you think about a movie like Teeth? I know it's not a remake, but I want to get a female's perspective on it.
I think there's a certain empowerment to it. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I mean,
like the fact that I could cut off a dick if I wanted to, if he was an
asshole. Sure.
Cut off a dick if he's an asshole. How
That's
ironic.
like a weird subgenre of body horror, though, man. I mean, that and Killer Condom and Contracted and stuff like that.
Well, and there's a new Shark Week movie. It was called Dick Shark or something like that. That was this year.
I don't know if I want to see that.
Bloodbath and Beyond is going to review it. Keep your eyes out. Okay, so Luke, should Hollywood slow down on him?
Whoa, Chiron shout out, says Jeff Floyd. What? That's my bad.
Yeah, they should.
Why? Why do you think so?
Because instead of dumping all this money into like 3 shitty remakes that everyone's going to hate on and forget about in a week, I think they should take that money and produce many more smaller original ideas, because that way we might actually end up getting some good movies out of the summer season instead of Men in Black 4, fucking Godzilla.
I like that.
Yeah,
I thought
like
it was
Godzilla too.
I thought those were totally fun. Let me play devil's advocate, okay? Never mind, Jesus. I don't want to play devil's advocate if that's how you're going to react.
It's not even fun, because every movie I bring up, whether it's good or bad, Cecil's like, I love it.
You know what?
It's the best.
Except for Child's Play. He don't like that Child's Play.
Yeah, fuck off with Child's Play.
I can't believe it.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna get into it then.
Yeah.
Aw.
No, do it.
No, I mean,
Toga.
I'm
Do
just
Toga.
curious, like, what they're still making independent filmmakers are making horror movies all the time. Like, what does it matter if Hollywood is putting their money into it or not? There's still so many horror movies that are flying under the radar that you don't know about because you're not bothering to seek them out. You just want Hollywood to pump $40 million into an unproven property and hope that
Yes.
that's good? Yeah, but every time they do, it turns out shitty. Truth or Dare, everyone hated. Slender Man, everyone
bad,
hated.
though.
Like,
Those were all,
yeah,
like,
but like I'm
10
saying,
million, though.
but that's what
Cecil,
they're
I'm gonna
trying
have
to
to
do.
stop you right there.
Look,
Never
I'm
in my
not
life
saying
will I
these
ever
are
ask
good.
for a truth or dare too.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Try
they're
again.
trying. Midsummer didn't make a huge amount of money.
Because that was bad.
I agree,
Yeah.
but
Well, I
not
think that
everyone
was mostly
agrees.
because it got released like the week before or after fucking Spider-Man
But
and
there-
Toy Story.
But I'm saying there's plenty of horror movies that are original ideas being made.
We just saw one last night. It's called Crawl, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and that one's not even being like advertised as much as it should be. That's a lean, mean 85 minute.
I'm seeing crawl advertisements left, right, and center.
Yeah. Well,
but-
either
but-
way,
but
that's
the thing.
but
Hold up, though. You're right because of the fact that they didn't screen Crawl for critics, and Stuckman
At
even
all.
mentioned in his review. He's like, "Why is Paramount not pushing this in this summer season of all of these remakes and sequels and stuff like that?" They were potentially worried that. I don't know. People are like, "Oh, it's an original idea."
I'm just saying the people that say that Hollywood should invest in original ideas, they do, and they don't always get seen. So, like, what do you like? What do those people
I
want?
just feel
Luke,
like- I
what
feel
do you ideally want to see?
I feel like it seems to me more Hollywood is more concerned with pumping out things that are familiar and what people have seen before rather than trying to push new stuff. Because it seems like for every Midsummer, there's 8 Child's Plays coming out. That's just how it seems to me, an average consumer.
That's fair, but are you accounting for the stuff that's on VOD? Like, are
No,
you?
because that's not what's coming out in theaters, which is what I'm talking about.
Well, okay. I mean, well, all right. So
I think they kind of.
that's a fair argument. It's a fair argument. Look, I'm not begrudging him that.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah, no, if you guys want the remakes, I'm not gonna be upset, and they're gonna happen whether I want them to or not.
I'm not saying I want them. I'm just saying I'm not
Uh-huh.
hating on them the way everyone else does. Just
Right.
because. Like, I'm not just saying, oh, because they're doing this, it's going to be a shitty movie. I'm willing to give every movie starts at 0. And it tells me where it goes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to see a trailer for a movie that's a remake and go, oh, automatically that's negative, whatever,
Right.
50 points, 100 points, whatever the fuck rating system you want to put on it. I'm not dragging it below the line just because it's a remake. I'm still going to judge it just like any other movie I see.
We do have a few names in the horror that are doing completely original stuff that I feel like the new stuff that actually gets the push is reputation and name, which is Jordan Peele, which is, obviously Ari Aster. I mean, even Robert Eggers, his new film After the Witch is coming out later this year. It has Willem Dafoe. It has Robert Pattinson, the new Batman. And so that's going to have a lot of buzz behind it, too. It already has, as it's seen some love on the festival circuit and whatnot. So I don't know.
The Conjuring franchise is a whole universe almost that they're building.
more
of
than
monsters.
almost.
I love The Conjuring.
Totally.
franchise.
It absolutely is its own universe. And I actually we both enjoyed Annabelle Comes Home because
I loved
it was
it.
essentially
Not better
Conjuring
than
3.
previous.
No, it wasn't better than Conjuring 1 or 2. It wasn't nearly as deep, but it was essentially Conjuring 3 and Annabelle 3 all at once.
But once again, not a new individual, brand new
Right.
kind of idea.
But people
Playing
will
in-
say that's not a new property because it's part of the Conjuring universe. Like,
Yeah.
people will say the Crooked Man when it comes out is not its own property because it's from the Conjuring universe, and it's a fair
Conjuring
argument.
3 is
It's a
still
fair
coming,
argument,
so.
but no one's made a Crooked Man movie yet, so it is technically a new property. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's its own thing.
Well, I disagree with those people then.
Yeah, for real.
I think those
Thank
are
you.
movies.
All right.
I-
You're okay
I
now,
just-
Chauncey. We're okay.
All right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish instead of Hollywood immediately diving into remakes all the time, they were more willing to take risks like they used to. I think that's what I'm
You mean
trying
in the
to say.
80s? Or like when? Okay, well, they haven't been willing to do that for 40 years. So
that's what I'm saying. I would like to see them get back into that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the whole thing of how much films and stuff cost too. They're always got. I mean, Hollywood's always somewhat been like cost or risk adverse. You know, they tend to go with what they think with action movies back in the day. You know, it was like a whole thing. There were so many different same kind of action movies coming out because it was an easy sell. And then occasionally you had it usually always falls to the independent circuit to kind of push something new. And then Hollywood's like, oh, this made money. Let's steal it and put some bigger names in it. And then it gets all the credit usually.
Mm-hmm. And what sucks is that at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
to be
it's fair,
and that's
money.
where you have to straddle the line and find that healthy medium where this porridge is just right, where you have, passionate people behind the ideas, original thinking and stuff like that, but a willingness, to back the idea with money. And that's where, I don't know. I mean, Luke, since you're so passionate and you're denouncing of remakes, if it came down to it, would you prefer a continuation of a story or a prequel to a story as opposed to a remake, or would you just completely always
rather go something new every time?
I don't know. It depends what they're doing with the idea, because if they're just going to make a sequel that's almost exactly like the first one, then I'd say just go with doing something original. Try to do something else.
So like The Force Awakens.
like that.
So if you knew someone
Jurassic
that
World.
wanted to do a fan film, you think they should do a wholly original idea as opposed to a sequel to an idea?
Well, I mean, maybe if they were doing something of the sort, because I know you're trying to get me to walk on eggshells with this comment.
Oh, does he know?
But if
Does
they
he
had
tell?
an idea that maybe, say 25 years later they have an idea, I'd say go for it. Fire on all cylinders.
Interesting.
Oh, I love you, Luke. All right.
Interesting.
So we got 10
Also-
minutes left. Oh, go ahead.
Before this gets lost again, the Manhammer AR-15 is my new best friend. He said, seems like Luke hates everything. You're right.
No, Luke doesn't hate everything.
No.
Luke is fair and balanced. He just hates remakes. So
I like the three people I'm talking to. That's
yeah, there you go. See?
Awesome.
You are appreciated.
Okay, so the last two questions I'm going to kind of lump together since we only have 10 minutes left, okay? So a lot of the remakes, some people might say that remakes are trying to pull one over on people, right? Like Pet Sematary, they're like, we're going to do something different. It's going to be Ellie instead of Gage, so there's a gender swap. And in the upcoming Jacob's Ladder, it's going to be black people instead of a white man and his family as the center protagonist.
The same
So
thing they're doing
race
with the new
swapping.
Scream series.
And new Scream series, the third Scream series, the one that just was on HBO. That was geared
VH1.
more toward VH1. Sorry, HBO. Blech. Yeah, if only. That was a black cast versus a white cast that was on MTV. So what do we think of? Do we think that this is just gimmicky? Do we think there's a purpose behind it? Do you think it's good because it's giving another segment of society a crack at a popular franchise? Like, let's look at this from all angles. And Chauncey, I'm going to start with you.
Well, yeah, I think there's a nuance to it. Like, yes, it is gimmicky from Hollywood because, like we were just saying, it is a business, and Hollywood looks at the numbers and. Studies have shown that when there's a diverse cast or like sometimes non-white or whatever, you do get a bigger turnout. Now, Hollywood likes to ignore that sometimes, but then occasionally when they want to make money, they will then do the whole inclusive thing. And it's not genuine necessarily. It's a business. So they know that works. They know they'll get more, butts in the seat in that regard. But in that same vein, just because their intention is, business, the bottom line, doesn't necessarily mean it's inherently negative overall. So you do get to open it up a bit more to, letting it be that, the final girl is Asian for once or black or something, as opposed to the angelic white woman or something like that. And other instances. So I think it can be positive. I do think it's gimmicky to a certain degree in Hollywood sense because they're just, it's capitalism, it's their bosses and whatnot. But I think there can be positives when it makes sense too. But then again, I'm not necessarily, just as a black person, I'm just not necessarily going to want to rush to see other black people get killed either. I mean, maybe I was better off watching white people die. I don't know. So I mean, so it's
Love
it's a
the
balance,
honesty.
you
Why
know.
can't we just kill everyone? I mean,
We all need all lives, known
Yeah.
lives matter, right?
Yeah.
No lives matter.
and that reminds me of the T-shirt.
The T-shirt, yeah.
yeah.
No, I love it. Like everyone should be able to die equally.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of it's okay or none of it's okay, sort of.
This, I'm gonna do this for Death Wish. This topic is tearing us apart, Lisa. All right, Luke, your thoughts on the gender swapping or race swapping? Is it just gimmicky or is it okay?
Again, I think it depends on the context. Like, you can tell something like the Ghostbusters remake, that was entirely gimmicky.
Okay.
But if you have an idea, I'm trying to think of one that I think worked, but I'm drawing a blank because I'm fucking exhausted.
I actually
But-
like the Ghostbusters remake.
See, was that Cecil talking?
No, yes, yeah, I knew he was gonna say that shit. That was not me this time. I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was good.
Because like even today I was
Right.
reading how the new Terminator director was like saying this and that, like stuff like that. You know, I think is just like it's almost a way of trying to stir up controversy where it doesn't need to be. If you got an idea and you think, hey, this worked with a man once, let's try it with a woman, and you actually, you know, want to try, then go for it. I'm not going to be like, don't do that. Just don't do it to be pushing agendas, you know, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Fair. So I think that sometimes it can be gimmicky, sometimes it can serve the story. Okay, so let me expound on that just a little bit. I think in Pet Sematary, I don't think that was just a gender swap for gender swap's sake. I think they moved it to Ellie because it made more sense to have the older child be the one that could say the really evil shit from the book that Gage couldn't really say in the original because it just sounded silly. And Ellie was a more logistical threat than Gage was because of the size and the manipulativeness. And so I think if it serves the story, it's fine. If it is a gimmick, then it becomes a problem. The race swapping in Jacob's Ladder, we haven't seen the movie, so we don't know how it affects the story. But I think there's absolutely a story to tell about a black soldier that comes back and is dealing with the same things that the white soldier in the original was dealing with. Right, but let's see how it's affected because of his culture and because of his family and because of stuff like that. Like, if we're gonna do a race swap, let's do it and show what's different because of the race. Let's not just do a palette swap. You know, let's just not switch skins and just have the same story but with a different color. Let's do it different and really make sure that we're seeing what would happen if it's a black soldier dealing with it and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, if there's purpose behind it, I think let's do it, you know? Like, because then it's a different movie. Like, yes, it's a remake, but it's the essence of what a remake should be.
Which is what you
we don't
want, a
need a
different
shot-for-shot
take
redo of the original. We want a new take on the old story. And so I'm on board if it's done right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fuego?
with the Pet Sematary remake, it was really just trying to be a different turn of the wheel, a different level of the tower in Stephen King talk, where it's like, okay, this is an alternate universe of sorts that mirrors our own but is slightly different. And that was the one thing about the film that I did not despise, was, you know, making it the different kid, and the fact that they owned it in the, you know, just previewed trailers and stuff like that. Also, Evil Dead, with having like the whole final girl aspect in that remake as opposed to having a Bruce Campbell or whatever. I actually really liked that. I thought that was a cool turning things on its head. And I mean, with the Jacob's Ladder remake, it's like, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can potentially explore with an African American soldier coming back, and, you know, whatever neighborhood he could have grown up in or whatever. And I mean, that's the thing. I always personally prefer where we have a nice, just diverse cast that doesn't just devolve into stereotypes, you know, like, you know, I mean, I think
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh my god! But yet, I mean, the sequel was pretty funny, I gotta say. But I mean, I think, despite being a
Cecil
white
probably likes
dude,
it.
I mean,
Fuck
I
off.
have, I mean, growing up.
No, I like Leprechaun Returns because that's a reboot.
I mean,
Rebequel.
I mean, growing up here in Phoenix, and the fact that I'm an Irish guy who goes by Jaime and Fuego, for God's sake, you know, I consider myself.
I'm Jaime and Fuego, Bigora.
I've always considered myself to a degree, because of the people I grew up with and stuff, adopted Hispanic to a degree, and I think Latinos are definitely underserved on screen as well, just like, you know, Asians, African Americans. It happens. It's unfortunately, it has very much, especially in horror, been about, you know, the white princess mentality that Chauncey mentioned, especially with the whole final girl tropes and stuff like that. Like, we don't see enough diversity in that particular regard, and so that's where we definitely do need to see like a shifting of the paradigm a little bit. You know, it's ultimately necessary, but don't make it feel forced. Make it natural within. And I know that we are on our last minute, so we are.
So I just want to mention a couple things real quick. Eric made a good comment from the Death Twitch. I believe people who react negatively to gender and race swapping are the minority, but the media and studios and marketing make a huge deal out of it and make it sound like the majority. That's a fair argument. We had a lot of people say that they agree, so I wanted to make sure I got that out here.
And that sort of coverage is what
but
stirs
hang on, we got a little
too.
time, so I want to make sure we plug everyone. So,
yes.
Chauncey, one more time, let everyone know where they can see you.
You can see me on YouTube at Chauncey K. Robinson, Twisted Girl Next Door. Also, my reviews are on Rotten Tomatoes as well on film.
Sliding that in again. I'm verified Rotten Tomatoes reviewer, so if you see it's not fresh, it's my fault. Fuck you. All right.
True, especially Midsummer. That's
a girl.
It was not
Do it up.
in her estimation.
I love it. Chauncey, we got to have you on the show more often. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to come back again.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Luke, let everyone know where they can find you.
YouTube.com/confusedreviews. I make videos when they're done.
Okay, and I got to play a video real quick. I'm a little behind, so here we go. Thank you guys for joining us. Links are in the description for everything. Here's the video. Go on to the movie boy.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Up next is the Movie Void. Click on the link in the description and continue the crawl. And for the full schedule, check out the Creepy Channel Crawl page on horroraddictstv.com.
I don't know what's going on.
Shut up, I played a video. All right.
Say we're live
if anyone's still here, thank you very much for watching.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Thank you very much for watching. We've been the Horror Show. Check out Chauncey and check out Luke too.
He's gonna say it.
Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, remember, stay scared.
I just skeeted on myself.